Hey, on the channel, it's the return of the Kyle Peterson Top 10. In today's video, we got something special. With San Diego Comic-Con knocking at our door, I'm counting down my top 10 most wanted G.I. Joe Classified Series figures.
And the spirit of Ultimate Warrior will run forever!
Welcome everyone, Kyle here, and welcome back to the channel for another edition of the Kyle Peterson Top 10. Normally a Thursday tradition here on the channel, normally a milestone subscriber. However, we're throwing that out the window in honor of San Diego Comic-Con. Even got my yellow and black striper attack wear on today because you know it's a special video. With San Diego Comic-Con 2025 this week, I said, you know what, before we get reveals, before we get all the news announcements, I want to do a new countdown. I want to update a countdown of old with my top 10 most requested, most wanted G.I. Joe classified figures. And as usual in these top 5, top 10 lists, this is my personal list, so it's 100% right. But guess what? Your list can be 100% right. Stick it in the comments down below. Going to start at number 10, work our way to number 1. Number 1 being my most wanted G.I. Joe Classified Series figures. And of course, the classified line near and dear to my heart. G.I. Joe and wrestling as a little kid really just propelled me into where I am today with my collecting. So G.I. Joe I am very, very passionate about. And of course, Todd, everybody, we all agree, Duke, the worst leader, we're very passionate about that as well. And we all know the power of Flint. And you know Flint's going to be in this top 10 list. And we'll talk about it, we'll dissect it, we'll dive into it. But we've had a lot of good classified figures over the last, I guess, couple of years now. It's been probably 5-6 years. The classified line is a lot older than we think it is. And now we're getting to some more of the deep cut characters. And you're going to see that reflected in my list. And you're going to see some characters that we have wanted for an eternity, really, at this point. And hopefully we get them soon. And who knows, with San Diego Comic-Con literally this week, maybe we'll get some of these announcements. And I will be there, boots on the ground at San Diego Comic-Con, taking notes, going to panels, doing all kinds of stuff. So follow on the channel, subscribe to the channel. You don't want to miss a thing like a young Aerosmith. But there it is. That is the play being set here for this top 10. Once again, put your list in the comments down below. But let's kick it off at number 10. We begin the countdown, of course, once again at number 10. And number 10 here goes to the Ninja Force line. A little subline, late, long in the tooth for a lot of Joe collectors of the 80s. Of course, I was like 10 maybe when the Ninja Force stuff started coming out, so I was still hanging on by a thread. It really got a little bit crazy for me when the Joe team went to space with the Space Brigade, and you got some of these monsters and stuff, get a little harder to find. So a Ninja Force still in my wheelhouse at the time, and we had some action features with the Ninja Force, as we know. But we've got a few Ninja Force characters. We got a few coming. I'm extremely excited for Slice and Dice. Those would be my 2 most wanted there. But for number 10, it's not Nunchuck. Yeah, I guess we already got Nunchuck, so we crossed him off the list. But it's not Dojo, and I always thought Nunchuck and Dojo always feuded with Slice and Dice for me in my child playing days. But it's not Dojo at number 10. He'd be a nice, strong number 11, I guess. But I'm going to go to the Zartan, full-on orange mohawked Zartan, Ninja Force riding style there. Definitely different from the Dreadnoks version, but I'm here for it. It's something different. It's something wild. I like the idea of it. We are getting a Zartan, of course, part of the Hasbro Pulse San Diego Comic-Con set, so who knows? There could be some reuse opportunities out of some of that for that Zartan for the Ninja Force, but it was a favorite of mine as a kid, a favorite of mine now. Number 10 most wanted for me, Zartan Ninja Force. Next up at number 9 is a bit of a deep cut. Once again, a little bit long in the tooth later in the Joe days there, but a lot of the stuff is this guy might not have been in the cartoons as much as, say, a Flint or even a Duke, that dastardly Duke, of course. But I believe he was in the Deke series, and we know everybody's hunting for the Deke, as we know. Everybody loves the Deke, especially my wife, as we do know. But number 9 for us here is a favorite character of mine in my playing days, and it is Rampart. Anybody remember Rampart? Always really enjoyed the aesthetics of the character. I always thought he was a cool looking figure, and he went to the top of my Joe team when I was playing as a little kid. Always enjoyed that figure. We got him in the 25th anniversary line, was obviously the last time we got him. But I think he'd be good in the classified line. He is a deep cut, though, and it's the hard thing with a lot of these lines. The deeper you get into the championship rounds, like the classified series is in, you almost have to restart with Cobra Commander and some of the heavy hitters because the Ramparts of the world aren't going to set the world on fire because there's not a lot of nostalgia for him, unless you're someone like me, of course. And that's why Rampart comes in number 9. We're feeling great at number 8, and we're feeling even better with the greatest Joe of all time, Flint. You know Flint had to be on this countdown somewhere. And in full transparency, I would love to have Flint in all these top 10 versions. You know, you get all the different versions of Flint, and there's a lot more out there that we do need to get, and I am hopeful we get all those, and I'm hoping it starts with the Snowcat and the Arctic Flint going on right now, so get your Snowcat, get your Flint figure, of course. But number 8 is a deeper cut for Flint because Flint, of course, the true leader of G.I. Joe, as we know. The true leader of Tiger Force, we know that. That's been fully assessed and fully vetted out, like the other one as well. But he also led another team. And what was that team? It was the Eco Warriors. We need Eco Warrior Flint. Of course, Flint, the only guy that said, you know, in these tough times, we need a modern-day Captain Planet. And that's where Flint stepped in. And he's the real-life Captain Planet is what he was. Cesspool, watch out. Flint's coming for you. But I do want this Flint the most of other Flints. And I didn't want to bury this countdown with Flints. I could do a top 5 most wanted Flint. Give me that Flint in Cobra disguise. Give me Desert Flint. Give me all kinds of different Flints. There's a lot of Flints we could still get. But I always loved the Eco Warriors one. I remember as a kid, I want to say I was 8 years old, and I had that under the Christmas tree. And that was a great day for Kyle and his Fig Fed, getting a brand new Flint, a little injection of fun into your playing day with your favorite character. So that was always a good one for me. Looking forward to hopefully the Eco Warriors in the future. I think that would be a great San Diego Comic-Con box set with some of those guys maybe in the future. I don't know when the anniversary of that. I guess we're a couple of years away. But we could see something like that maybe in the future. But give me Eco Warriors Flint. Heck, give me all the Flint. And that one's coming in at number 8. We've hit the number 7 spot in the countdown, and number 7 feeling a lot like number 8. I put this guy ahead of Flint just because, let's be honest, this one's a bit more toyetic. Where are we going? Well, we're going to the Eco Warriors again. We're going to the big bad over there. We're going to Cesspool. And those are the only 2 Eco Warriors I had, if I remember correctly, as a kid. But I always loved Cesspool, and there was an amazing 25th anniversary. I think it was part of the Figure Subscription Club Once Upon a Time version of Cesspool. Absolutely loved him. I always had him as another guy with, you had your Serpentor, Cobra Commander, your Destro. I put Cesspool up there because he was leading the evil faction there. And he had that sweet scar down his face. Very, very toyetic. Maybe make him and Flint in a 2-pack. I'd be here for that. But Cesspool was a favorite of mine then. Would be a favorite of mine now. I got Cesspool in at number 7. Next up at the countdown, number 6. And it's time for Kyle to make his move like a young Big Lob. It's time to get Big Lob in the classified series, and that's where number 6 is for me. Of course, the G.I. Joe movie, just absolutely the best cinema you could ever watch. Possibly my favorite movie of all time. Possibly is. I've seen it in the theater numerous times. I had the VHS tape as a kid. I watched it 1,000 times. Watched it when it was on TV. They'd break it up into a bunch of mini episodes. Love me the G.I. Joe movie, and I love that new Joe team, the Renegades, you know, working the training. Even Falcon, that no-good Falcon, and we've discussed that. We've talked about it ad nauseum, how terrible he is. The nepotism of Duke, the downward spiral of Duke as a true leader, just every episode, just down, 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 down. And, you know, Falcon, all those guys wouldn't even be involved if it wasn't for Duke slipping some money over there, get Falcon up where he doesn't even belong, as we saw. You know, can't even guard Nemesis Force, or can't do anything. Or I guess Serpentor, can't guard Serpentor. Bazooka almost lost his life, which he did later on, and that was, of course, Duke. Duke's like, man, we almost got him in the G.I. Joe movie, and now he's totally dead here in the G.I. Joe Resolute movie. Man, that Duke. He's got so much blood on his hands, it's embarrassing at this point. But Big Lob makes his move, and he's the only one, as of right now, we're missing from that classified series. We got the rest of the team. We got the old Rawhides. We're ready to go. We need Big Lob, and we did get him in the 25th Anniversary Figure Subscription Club Once Upon a Time. I believe, am I wrong? Is that his only figure ever? Todd says it is, but you said it with your second toe, and I can interpret it. Sad how well we know each other that I can interpret that here from the couch. But Big Lob makes his move. I want a big, tall, deluxe figure, a basketball-style figure. I got to think that's coming. I don't know when, but you got to think that's going to be in the mix eventually. We'll see what ends up happening there. But Big Lob makes his move at number 6. Next up at number 5 is one I'm shocked we haven't got already. He goes back to not quite the original Joes, but early in the Joe line. A favorite of mine, and he was in that one classic episode. There's the balloons and stuff. Oh, I can't remember what the episode was. That makes a lot of sense. That episode with the balloons, you know what I'm talking about. But he was in that classic one, was like, not the pyramids, they were like in Brazil or something. Rakondo was there, so you know it was a good time. But who are we talking at number 5? Well, we're talking about Airtight. Airtight, a classic one. I can see his classified figure being with helmet on, helmet off. You got different options there. But the OG figure was an amazing one. Absolutely loved that. Later, we got in the 25th anniversary, we got the regular one. We also got a Tiger Force edition. So there's an easy repaint layup there as we keep building out Flint, the true leader of G.I. Joe's team, of course. But Airtight would be a very fun one, a very iconic one as well. One I always enjoyed as a kid in the cartoon and the action figure. Makes a lot of sense. Have to think he's coming in the classified line sooner rather than later. So Airtight at number 5. We're almost done with the countdown. We're down to the final 4. You got your list together. Make sure you do put it in the comments down below. And don't forget to subscribe to this channel for all the San Diego Comic-Con coverage, videos every single day, 2 YouTube channels of videos every day, and a podcast. Hardest working man in the action figure game, that's for sure. But of course, make sure you do subscribe and check out all the stuff that's going on. But here we are at number 4. And number 4, maybe a little bit controversial, maybe not. But this character is a favorite of many. Never a favorite of mine until he jumped in a kayak. Once he got in a kayak, it stole my heart. And we're going to, of course, Stalker Kayak Edition. We've got this figure a few times over the years. It's time to get him as a deluxe figure in the G.I. Joe classified line. Always my favorite Stalker for whatever reason. It's kind of Arctic Stalker. That's what I always think of it as well. But for some reason, I didn't love the original Stalker. And I know a lot of people do. You like what you like, you don't what you don't. But in my playing days, this was my Stalker. This is the one that was at the top of the list for me. Absolutely love this figure. It's always cool to get a little animal. It's always cool to get a little vehicle with your figure. And I just like the look of this Stalker. I just thought it was a great one. It transcended into playability very well. And I think the same thing would happen in the classified line. So classified series Stalker with kayak is what I hope to see. And he comes in at number 4. Down to the final 3. It's time to separate the men from the boys after number 3, because number 3 is a female, and it's one we have needed for so many years. I guess 5 years, whatever the classified line's going. This character first made her first ever action figure appearance, part of the Figure Subscription Club once upon a time, 15, 20 years ago. What's time at this point? Have to imagine coming to the classified series eventually. One of the key members of the G.I. Joe movie, of course, it is Pythona, part of Cobra Law. An amazing, amazing character. Now, I understand that there's a lot of people in the Joe audience that hate Cobra Law. I love Cobra Law. I'm in the camp of absolutely loving it. I think I was at the right age for that. I think if I was just a little bit older, I would have maybe been against it because I would have been more about the OG military stuff. But I came into G.I. Joe at the beginning, but my love really, really jump-started with the whole Serpentor and the Cobra Law and that whole wave, you know, with the new characters, Wetsuit, Leatherneck, sci-fi coming into things. Absolutely love that era. And that's the golden era for me for Joe's. And I know that's not for everybody, of course. But Pythona is one we need. I could see her being a deluxe figure with a lot of cool accessories and stuff. But have to imagine that's on the table sooner rather than later. Pythona coming in number 3 for me. All right, down to the final 2. And it's a thin line between these two for me. But number 2, one of the characters I love since I got it as a child. I'll never forget going to Target. My aunt and uncle were taking me. They were watching me for some reason, and they let me pick this one up. And man, I was an excited camper in the back seat the rest of the day. Absolutely love this one. Would love to see a vehicle with this guy. Of course, the Chariot. Who are we talking about? We're going to the Iron Grenadiers. We're going to Destro. Have to imagine this one's coming sometime in the next year or two. How could it not? A very famous figure. It gets a character like Destro back out there to everybody. Heck, they even have the gold head from the Pimp Daddy Destro once upon a time. Have to imagine this one's coming. I want the full cape going on like a young Lando Calrissian. Give me that sword. Give me the gold head, the black suit. Man, oh man, that's a fearsome, fiery Destro. And as a little kid, personal story, get your Kleenex out. I lost my original Destro, the OG Destro. I was playing in my yard and I had like a sandbox type thing with some dirt and stuff. He ended up caving in and got lost in there. I could never find him again. I don't know how it had. My parents called me in for lunch for a banquet chicken pot pie for lunch. And to this day, I like almost want to vomit if I see those. And I think a lot of that has to do with Destro being lost. It's like that memory of one of my favorite characters being lost. But I was very thankful that Destro came back out in the Iron Grenadiers edition. So I was very happy to have that as a kid. Absolutely love that figure. definitely will be in the classified series. Just when? Hopefully very soon. Iron Grenadier's Destro at number 2, which means there can only be one. Like a young Highlander, what is my most wanted G.I. Joe classified series figure? Well, stay tuned. All right, we've hit the number 1 spot. My number 1 most wanted classified series figure. Once again, put your list in the comments down below. And I gotta think we'll see at least a couple of these at San Diego Comic-Con. Of course, once again, I'm filming this before San Diego Comic-Con, so we'll see what ends up happening. But I'm very excited for the future of the Joe brand. Hoping to see a lot of these deep cuts and some figures and characters that we haven't got yet that are iconic characters. And I feel like this one is extremely iconic. Now, it is controversial at the same time. And you guys know what I said about Cobra Law. You know I love Cobra Law. You know I love the G.I. Joe movie. But what do I want to see? It's something I wanted to see ever since I was a little kid. We did get it as a kid. It just left a little bit to be desired. And I think the classified team can take this one to the absolute next level. Could see it as a possible San Diego Comic-Con or PulseCon exclusive in the future. We'll see where it goes. But number 1, yep, you guessed it, Todd McFarlane. It is Globulus. Globulus, of course. Burgess Meredith voiced Globulus. Absolutely amazing. An amazing character. I mean, we got the old school one with kind of the snake tail going on. I want that with this one, but I also want that little like bubble thing he was in. That's the key thing that was missing. You couldn't stand up that Globulus figure when you were a little kid. But I want to see both versions. I want 2 heads on it. I want one head that has the eye where the dagger can go in the eye. I want that as an option. I think there's a lot of meat on the bone here. We're going to build out Cobra Law. We need the Royal Guard. He could have been 11 or 12 on this. There's just a lot of Cobra Law love in my heart, and maybe not yours, but Globulus would be an extremely toyetic figure. Have to imagine he might be like $75 if they give the full bubble, plus the snake tail, plus the extra heads, weapons, and stuff. Maybe throw him in with a Royal Guard, make it a big deluxe pack. I don't know, but however they do it, I want to see it. I hope it's here in the next couple of weeks is what I'd like to see. I'd like to see it this week at San Diego Comic-Con, but if not, hopefully here sooner rather than later. Globulus easily for me taking the number 1 spot. I mean, it was close with Destro, but all day long, there's no like, I'm going to wake up tomorrow and go Destro. Globulus, a very strong number 1 want for me. And that's my top 10 list. Be interested to hear your list, of course. Stay tuned for the San Diego Comic-Con coverage. Stay tuned to my podcast. Each and every Tuesday, my wife, Angie, and I break it down on The Kyle Peterson Show, wherever audio podcasts are found. Video podcast, of course, over there on YouTube. A lot of fun on that. Check out Patreon, check out YouTube channel memberships for even more content, more videos every single day. Sir Paul64 on the X, _Kyle_Peterson on Threads, Instagram, TikTok, and of course, TheKylePetersonShow at gmail.com is my email if you want to reach out to me. So for a top 10 most wanted G.I. Joe Classified Series countdown, I'm Kyle. See you guys all real soon.
Well, are we gonna dance or are we gonna play?